Magandang araw, ako po si Sir Ariel, ang ALS lover ng Edtech Unit. Narito po ako para sa isang napakagandang balita at upang magpaalala na ang kinabukasan ay mas gaganda at uunlad kung ang lahat ay patuloy na mag-aaral. Sa edukasyon sa ating bansa, tiyak na walang maiiwanan sa pag-abot ng mga pangarap. Kaya naman ang Department of Education ICT's Educational Technology Unit at Alternative Learning System Task Force ay nagtutulungan sa pagkakaroon ng ALS Tech Empowerment Program upang maihatid ang excellent quality education sa ating mga ALS learner and teachers. To easily deliver the lessons from the modules and other references, we will provide tablet PC as part of the DepEd computerization program to all ALS teachers and orientation on the use of these packages. To deepen the pedagogical use of information and communications and technology in delivering instructions, there are training workshops on the use and curation of open educational resources or OER, Google and Microsoft productivity tools, creation of video lessons using PowerPoint presentations and KineMaster, and on ebook or e-magazine development. To create an avenue for remedial lessons that is open to all learners, teachers, and parents, we will have the ETUlay free online tutorial and mobile ETUlay, where we will visit remote schools to feature the best practices of our ALS teachers and learners. Sa mga out-of-school youth and adult, laging tatandaan na may pag-asa upang makapagpatuloy sa pag-aaral. May ALS para sa inyo. Ang edukasyon ay para sa lahat. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, para sa guro. Sulong Edukalidad.
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETUlay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETUlay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICT's Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del P. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETUlay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Hello po, good afternoon po. Ako po muli si inyong tutor for this afternoon in Alternative Learning System. Learning Strand number 5 po, Understanding Self and Society, ang inyong tutor, Gilbert po. So, before I start this presentation or this discussion this afternoon about LS5 or Learning Strand number 5, I would like to greet ang aming very dynamic at napakahusay na SDS in SDO Les Piñas, Dr. Joel Titor Campo. Magandang hapon po. And our ASDS po, kasama po ang kanyang ASDS na si Sir Juan C. Ovierna po. Binabati ko rin po ng magandang hapon po yung ang aming ama sa kagawaran kagawaran ng Aralin Panlipunan po, si Sir Nico Gonzales. Ang aming head po sa ALS, si Ma'am Rosel Sabido, at of course si Sir JC Cabarles po. So and even ang aming principal po sa Las Piñas Science at Las Piñas City National Senior High School Calondos Campus, Ma'am Jennifer T. Irispe. So magandang hapon po. Magandang hapon din po kay Sir Ariel, kay Sir Madge po, at kay Sir Wilbur po. Good afternoon po and sa lahat po ng ating mga mag-aaral for this afternoon and sa aking mga kapwa-guro po. So, good afternoon po. Magandang hapon po, Sir Mark, Edward. Magandang hapon po sa inyo. So, for this afternoon po, again, before I would go to the present discussion, I would like to take credit sa slides go po sa mga ginamit kong PowerPoint template sa aking mag-aaral na si Jacob de la Cruz, who created yung ginagamit kong icon, yung Talondos Campus icon in my PowerPoint presentation po. So, and even ICT for us and even DepEd Learning Common po for the resources I used in this presentation po. So, good afternoon po. So, ang ating pong pag-uusapan ngayong araw po or ngayong hapon po ay patungkol po sa lumalaking bilang ng populasyon. So, it's fighting overpopulation. So, ano kaya yung possible na mga problema at yung mga possible na pakikisangkot natin dito sa lumalaking bilang ng populasyon. So, this will be our topic for this afternoon po. So, I hope you stay tuned. Good afternoon po, Ma'am Marjorie Abellanaris, ang aking butihing may bahay, wife. Tutor po ng ALS. Every Tuesday po, elementary science po. Good afternoon po. So, thank you for supporting this afternoon's discussion. So, what will be our lesson objectives po for this afternoon about overpopulation or fighting overpopulation? So mahalaga po na malaman natin yung mga tunguhin o mga layunin na meron tayo ngayong hapon na ito. So first, ano po yung mga lesson objectives natin? One, of course, aside from identifying overpopulation and different concepts and terms about overpopulation, we need to identify the factors that contribute to population growth. So alamin natin, ano ba yung mga bagay na nakakadulot or nakakaapekto sa lumalaking bilang ng populasyon. Pangalawa po, explain the problems caused by rapid population growth. So there is a concept of population growth. There is also a concept of rapid population growth. Pangatlo po, describe the possible solutions to population problems and ways to slow down population growth. So kaya nga, nakaangkla nga po ito sa ating paksa for this afternoon po, yung fighting overpopulation. So what are the problems na pwedeng maidulot nung rapid population growth or yung overpopulation? Then we can analyze and even suggest ways or enumerate ways po on how to slow down this population growth. And last one, analyze the actions taken by other countries in addressing problems that are related to rapid population growth. So dito po pwede tayong mag-compare and contrast nung mga bagay na ginawa, yung mga best practices, ang tawag natin dito ay siguro mag-benchmark tayo. Diba? So doon sa mga best practices na ginawa ng iba't ibang mga bansa in order for them to control the rapid population growth. So, let's proceed. So, ang pinaka-main idea for this afternoon is overpopulation po. So, ano-ano kaya yung mga key concepts or yung mga ideas? So, let's create a concept mapping. Ano-ano kaya yung mga ideas or mga concepts, key concepts when we speak about the topic overpopulation? Yan. So, good afternoon po, Ma'am Karina Belia. Wow, my mother-in-law is also supporting. Good afternoon po. Ano-ano kaya ito? Yung mga concepts, mga terms, and even mga ideas po when we speak about overpopulation. Yan, very good. So, when we do speak of overpopulation, of course, pag-uusapan natin yung root word, population. Pag-uusapan natin yung population. What population is all about. So, anong pagkakaiba nito sa overpopulation, sa population growth? So, this one. Ano pa kaya? Ayan. So, when we do speak of overpopulation, another important concept na sinasabi natin when we do, or pinag-aaralan natin, or tinutukoy natin when we do speak of overpopulation is birth rate. So later on, we will define anong ibig sabihin po ng birth rate. Good afternoon po, Sir Yuri or Ma'am Yuri Buendia. So, ayan, sabi ni Ma'am Marjorie Abella Naris, maraming tao, sobra. Good afternoon po, Ma'am Ella Perez Malboda, ang aking kasamahan, at kapwa guro po sa Las Piñas Science High School po. Good afternoon po, Ma'am Ella. Pangatlo, ano pa kaya? Ayan, very good. Of course, when we do speak of overpopulation, there are also concepts of pollution. So, paano kaya papasok mamaya yung pollution or pollution when we speak about overpopulation? Ano pa kaya? Ayan, so good afternoon po. Tatay Nick Abella, ang aking father-in-law po. So maraming salamat po sa pagsuporta. So pang-apat po na concept, idea, or terminology na pwede nating tukuyin when we speak about overpopulation is death rate. So we have the birth rate. Siyempre, kung may birth rate, merong death rate. What else? Ayan, very good. Migration. So, migration is also a topic of concern or even an idea na pag-uusapan natin when we speak about overpopulation. Yan, sabi ni Inay Karina Abella, overcrowded. Good afternoon po, Ma'am Gemma Migano Tagayon from SDO Bacoor City. Hello po. So, dito rin po ako nakatira sa Bacoor. Next will be population education. So, educating people. Let's educate people about population, di ba? So, pag-uusapan din po natin yung konsepto ng PopEd or population education. And of course, yung population explosion. So, these are some of the terms, key concepts na kailangan nating i-watch out, that we need to watch out when we speak about this topic, overpopulation or fighting overpopulation. So, let's proceed to our discussion for this afternoon. Imagine this picture, this one. Yung picture A at saka yung picture B. So, ito po. Hello po, good afternoon po, Ma'am, Sir Rod Maiso Ipan. So, this one, ito pong larawan na ito. Imagine, itong mga itim na to, yung mga bilog na itim na nasa loob ng kahon or ng box, tumutugon ito sa mga tao. Tapos yung kahon or yung box, yung square, tumutugon sa bansa. So imagine this type of two different scenario, two different situation. Wherein dun sa A, dalawa lang yung tao, dun sa B, medyo madami. 4, 8, 16, 20, 24, 27. 27 sila dun sa loob ng kahon. Good afternoon po, Sir Gregorio Mamporte. So, ano kaya sa tingin niyo yung estado or sitwasyon, halimbawa with regard sa kanilang pagkain? Again, imagine, doon yung isang box, yung box A, ay tumutugon doon sa isang bansa, itong dalawang box na ito. Yung box A tumutugon sa isang bansa na may dalawang, say for example, tao. Tapos yung box B, itong D, yung picture B ay tumutugon naman doon sa isang bansa na merong mga 27 na tao. Ano kaya yung estado or kalagayan pagdating sa kanilang pagkain? What do you think? Sino kaya sa dalawa, sa A at sa B, yung medyo mas nakakaluwag-luwag in terms of pagkain, food resources? Is it A or B? Ayan, box B po, may kakulangan sa pagkain, sabi ni Sir Rod Maiso Ipan. Very good. So, bakit may kakulangan sa pagkain? Kasi una, dami nila as compared dun sa letter A. So, imagine if most of our food resources will be coming from our environment. So, halimbawa, nanggaling ito yung natural resources na meron tayo. Definitely, anong meron? Yung sa A, medyo mas nakakaluwag-luwag talaga sila. They can already maximize everything sa bansa nila. Yung sa box B, sabi ni Sir Rod, may kakulangan pagdating sa pagkain. So sabi ni Sir Gregorio Mamporte dun sa tanong ko, sino mas nakakaluwag? Tama po, very good. It's letter A. Good afternoon po, Ma'am Gemma Dean. Next, Ano pa kaya? Tingin nyo, sino kaya sa dalawang dito ang nahihirapang kumilos? Nahihirapang kumilos pagdating sa kanilang pang-araw-araw na pamumuhay. Is it A or B? Yung nahihirapang kumilos. A ba or B? Good afternoon po ulit, Ma'am Gemaline Barkin from SDO Annex Morong, Bataan. So sabi po ni Inay Karina Abelia and even Sir Rod Maiso Ipan, letter B po, tama po, very good. So mapapansin nyo, sabi ni Ma'am Gemma Tagayon, letter B, tama po, very good. So when we do speak of yung mobility na tinatawag, yung pagkilos, yung movement from one place to another, di ba? Ay medyo nagkakaroon ng problema na medyo nasisikipan, hindi maayos mga kilos, yung nasa letter B as compared sa letter E. Imagine, di ba, kung nasa loob ka ng bahay tapos 20 kayong magkakapatid. So, tapos yung bahay, kunyari yung bahay nyo hindi up and down. Paano kaya sila kikilos nun? So, this one. So, itong dalawang senaryo na ito, itong mga senaryong ipinakita ko po sa inyo, ito tumutugon sa estado nung bilang o dami ng tao sa isang bansa. Thus, when we do speak of this scenario, we are referring to population. So, when we speak about population, kapag pinag-uusapan natin yung population, ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng population? So, population refers to the total number of people in a specific demographic area. Ano ba yung mga demographic area when we do speak of demographic area? Diba? It refers to the total number, yung kabuuang bilang ng tao in a specific demographic area. Baxby po, madaling magkaroon ng hawaan kung may nakakahawang sakit. Tama po, Sir Rod, Ipan. So halimbawa, in the case, in current situation ng pandemyang nararamdaman natin ngayon, hindi po ba mas mabilis yung transmission nung sakit kung sakaling masyadong madami yung taong nagpukumpulan sa isang lugar? So again, babalik ako dun sa question, ano ba yung mga halimbawa ng demographic area? Kasi when we do speak about population, it refers to the total number of people in a specific demographic area. So when we do speak of demographic area, ano na yung mga halimbawa nito? Komunidad. So yan. So di ba yung community, say for example, yung barangay na meron kayo, it's a specific demography. Bansa. Di ba? Bansa. So lahat tayo, yung demographic, yung teritoryo ng isang bansa, it pertains also to a demographic area. So, when we do speak of population, anong meron? Binibilang yung dami ng tao sa isang lugar in a specific demographic area. So, the study of population is what we call demography. Demos, mula sa salitang Latin na demos at graphene or graphia, demos which means tao, graphene or graphia, pag-aaral. So when we combine those two Latin words together, it means the study of people. So what about people? Of course, the number of people within a specific demographic area, and ano-ano yung mga situation, problems they will encounter with regard to the total number of people. So that's why. So since napag-uusapan natin yung population as being defined as the total number of people in a specific demographic area, let's identify the top 5 most populous country in the world. It's according to USA Census last March 21, 2021. So recent yung census. So baka may nagbago na. So that's why I mentioned the reference. USA Census, March 21, 2021. So ano kaya yung nasa top spot? Ano kaya yung bansa na may pinakamalaking or pinakamaraming tao or pinakamalaking population? Ano kayang bansa ito? Ano kaya yung bansang may pinakamalaking populasyon? Pilipinas ba ito? So, Russia ba ito? So, ano kaya yung bansa na may pinakamalaking population? And sabi ni Ma'am Nanay Inay Karina Abela, China. Sabi ni Sir Rod Maiso Ipan, India. So, let's see. Tingnan natin kung, ayan, sabi ni Ma'am Gemma, India. The first is China. Very good po. So, That's the most populous country. Yung may pinakamalaking populasyon. So, yan, sabi ni Nick Abella, China. So, ilan kaya yung populasyon ng China as of March 21, 2021? Ayan po. So, 1,397,897,720. So, this one is the population of China. Kaya nga, di ba, isa sa mga taguri sa China ay land of the sleeping giant, di ba? Lupain ng natutulog na higante. So, pero ngayon nagbago na yon. So, when I was studying, nung nag-aaral ako sa kolehiyo at sa high school, yun nga yung tawag, yun yung funly name, funly called sa China, land of the sleeping giant. But since they emerged as the top country in terms of economy, yung dating natutulog, gising na ngayon. It's the land of the awakened giant, yung lupain ng nagising na higante na. So they were treated as giant, not because malalaki sila. Of course, malaki naman talaga yung lahi na, but because they have the most number of people. So, sa buong mundo. So, pangalawa kaya, ano kaya yung pangalawa? So, we have China as the top. Ano po kaya yung pangalawa? So, parang medyo nabanggit na to kanina. So, ano kaya yung pangalawa when we do speak of the second most populous country in the world? Yan, very good. So, when we do speak of the second most populous country, yan. Ayan. So, India. So, this one, yan. Dan po pumapasok yung sagot kanina ni Sir Rod, ni Ma'am Gemma, si Inay, sabi Inay Karina. Si Sir Pads, Punay, India. Tama po, very good. India. So, ang kabisera po ay New Delhi. So, what's the population? This one, 1,339,330,514 na tao sa kanilang bansa. So, what we can notice, comparing these two countries, bakit malaki yung population nila? Una, of course, when we speak about the demographic area, malaki rin naman talaga yung bansa nila. So, this one, so there are, yan, New Delhi or Bombay, so south of India, sabi ni Nick Abella. So, this one. Pangatlo, ako medyo dito na magkakatalo sa pangatlo. So, ano kaya yung pangatlo? So, we have China, we have India. Ano kaya yung pangatlo? What's the third most populous country in the world? Philippines, sabi ni Sir Rod, Ipan. Ano pa kaya? Umabot na ba 16 million din, naisip ko lang. Philippines, sabi ni Sir Pads. Punay. So the third, let's see, tingnan natin yung pangatlo. The third will be USA. So the capital is Washington, D.C. or District of Columbia. So ano yung population niya? This one, 330,425,184. So this one is the population of USA. So this is the third. So again, kagaya ng pagsusuri natin kanina, what we can notice, we can associate the large number of people sa mga tatlong bansang ito to the demographic area na meron. Kasi itong mga bansang ito ay may mga malalaking teritoryo din. So could be, kasi ang tanong dyan mamaya, kapag ba may malaking bilang ng, or kapag ba maraming tao, ang tawag na doon ay overpopulation, what if the country can sustain its parang economic demands, yung mga demands and needs ng mga tao sa isang lugar? Pwede ba itong maituring na overpopulation? So later on we will discuss it. So next, pang-apat. Ano kaya yung pang-apat? What was the fourth country? So sa tingin ba natin papasok na dito yung Pilipinas? What was the third most populous country? The fourth most populous country in the world is Indonesia. The capital is Jakarta. So, mapapansin, if you will compare the demographic area of Indonesia to those three countries na nasa itaas, medyo maliit yung teritoryo, yung lupain na nasasakupan nito. Yan, sabi ni Marjorie Abellanares, Indonesia. So 275,122,131. So si Philippines kasi roughly around medyo mas mataas ng konti. So sumampa na siya ng 100 million, more than 100 million. So but not 200 million. So hindi pa niya pa masu-surpass even Indonesia. And the last will be Pakistan. So the capital is Islamabad. So Indonesia is in Southeast Asia, while Pakistan is in South Asia. So ito yung nasa northwest ng India. So katabi nung Afghanistan. So this one, ano yung population niya? 238,181,034. So ito po, again, as we compare it to the top 3 countries, China, India, and even USA, malalaki yung bansa nila, yung demographic area. Pero pag tiningnan natin itong Pakistan at saka Indonesia, maliit. So could be we can clearly assume na baka medyo mas malala yung problema when we do speak of Pakistan and even Indonesia. Pero sinabi kanina dito ng ating mga live audiences po na kapag masikip, medyo mas mabilis yung transmission ng nakakahawang sakit, sabi ni Sir Rod Ipan. So tama naman, just like what is happening now to India. So let's pray for all countries, even in our country, and even dun sa sitwasyon ngayon na kinalalagyan ng bansang India. So that's one. So these are the most populous countries in the world. So ano ba? So when we do speak of population, so we have the concept of population growth and population explosion. So later on, we will unlock this term. So ano ba yung mga factors na pwede mag-contribute when we do speak of population growth? So when we do speak of population growth, yan, sabi ni Itay Nick Abella, USA, Pakistan, Brazil. Yes, Brazil, tama po. Nasa top 7 ang Brazil. And even Mexico po ay nasa top, included in the top 10 when we do speak of most populous country. So, and even Russia, because of its medyo malaki yung demographic area rin po niya. So, ano po ba yung mga factors that can contribute to the population growth? So, yung paglaki ng bilang ng tao sa isang lugar or sa isang demographic area. So, that's how we define population growth. So, lumalaki. So, based on the picture, ano po ang possible na dahilan? First, migration. So, migration is one of the factors that may contribute dun sa dumadaming bilang ng tao sa isang bansa, sa isang lugar. So, when we do speak of migration, it refers to the movement or the transfer of people from one place to another. So, halimbawa, pumunta ka sa Cavite, papunta sa Las Piñas, it refers to your movement from one place to another. Nag-transfer ka ng city from kunyari, Bacoor to Las Piñas, that could be. But of course, migration has a definite reason. And so, when we do speak of migration, there is an intention na anong meron, could be pwede ka dong mag-settle na ng matagal, hindi yung bibisita ka lang. So pumunta ka lang doon, nag-migrate ka na. That only refers to your movement. So when we do speak of migration, ano-ano ba yung iba't ibang mga dahilan when we do speak of this migration? Ano-ano ba yung mga possible reasons why people move from one place to another? So the first will be this one. Yan, isa sa malaking factor when we do speak of migration, of course, yung employment, yung job opportunities, yung paghahanap natin ng trabaho. So, di ba, halimbawa, yan, sabi ni Sir Rod, Maiso Ipan, tama po, very good po, job. So, yung mga job opportunities, sabi ni March Abella Naris, work. Yan, so, sabi ni Inay Karina Abella, job opportunity. So, ayan, yung mga oportunidad na meron sa sa bansa. So, when we do speak of this one, nakakapag-contribute ito nung paglaki nung bilang ng population ng isang bansa. So, say for example, yung Philippines, 'di ba? Kilala naman ng mga Pilipino with the kumbaga sa contribution ng ating mga overseas Filipino workers po. They migrated from one place, from Philippines to other countries. And to some extent there are some na anong meron they decided na doon na manirahan dun sa mga bansang kanilang pinagtatrabahuhan. So, because of the job opportunities na meron. So, pangalawa, so when we do speak of reasons, possible reasons for migration will be violent conflicts and even war. So, dito nagkakaroon ng concept ng mga refugee. So, halimbawa, yung mga bansa na may consistent na away o digmaan, of course, yung mga tao, they won't stay. Dahil specifically if they are not included in those wars, so pupunta sila, they migrated to nearby or neighboring countries. Especially if those countries, nag-aalaw naman, they are very open for refugees. So, naka-open sila. So, it could be a possible reason for migration. So, of course, halimbawa, in the case of USA and even Mexico, di ba, isa sa mga nakilalang contribution ni ex-President Donald Trump, yung pagtatayo niya ng wall, yung wall sa pagitan ng border ng Mexico at saka ng United States of America. So, dalawang bagay yan. Possible, there could be violent conflicts and war, doon sa halimbawa sa mga drug related issues nila, and could be the job opportunities. So yes, tama po, like what happened in Palestine, tama po. Of course there are different yung sigalot at pag-aaway at digmaan sa Palestine po, yung reclamation of territories, specifically halimbawa in the areas of Gaza Strip, West Bank. So, may consistent na digmaan pa rin dito. So, of course, sa other Palestinians wanted to save their family also. So, that's why they take refuge sa mga neighboring countries. So, say for example, in the case of Syria, di ba? So, nakita nilang medyo isang European na nagtatanggap ng mga refugee, ng Syrian refugee will be France. So, nagtatanggap sila nun. That's why it was, could be the possible reason bakit ang France ang naging target ng ISIS when we do speak of yung French terror attack. So, dahil nga, umaalis na sila dun sa kanilang mga bansa. So, there was wave of migration going dun sa mga bansang open para sa mga refugee at tumatanggap sa kanila. So, pangatlo, of course, will be the natural calamities po. So, for natural calamities naman po, ayan. So, of course, say for example, the government. Good afternoon po, Ma'am Annalie Gonzalez Dano. So, ano naman po ang meron dito? Yung area na yon, halimbawa, may mga certain, halimbawa, yung sa Taal, yung sa explosion ng Taal volcano, anong meron? May mga certain radius and yung tapos perimeters na dineclare na danger zone. Of course, kailangan mag-evacuate at kailangan mag-transfer nung mga tao nakatira malapit doon or mismong naandoon sa loob ng radius na dineclare na danger zone. So, it could be possible reasons for migration. And others could be, halimbawa, yung mga nakikita natin na education is also a possible reason for migration. So I encountered it when I'm teaching in private institution, a well-known private institution. Most of my Korean students, they migrated from Korea to Philippines just because of the yung sa education gusto nila mag-aral. So of course they wanted to learn also how to speak fluent in English. And isa sa mga reason nila, when they compare different countries, mas mura yung babayaran nila when in acquiring education in the Philippines. So education could also be a possible reason for migration. So again, when we do speak of migration, ito yung movement ng mga tao from one place to another. And this migration could be a factor bakit dumadami yung bilang ng tao at a certain year in a specific demographic area. So, this one. Second, ano pa kaya aside from migration? Yan, yung pangalawa po, bakit dumadami yung tao sa loob ng isang specific demographic area? It's because of the new medicines and medical. It should be medical. Sorry po. I stand corrected po. Medical. Sabi ni Tay, cause of migration, seek safety, high crime, and ayan po. So, syempre, they wanted to seek safe and sound situation. So, halimbawa, may conflicts of war, kailangan nilang maging ligtas po. And yung opportunities po, kung wala namang opportunities halimbawa sa job dito, they wanted to escape yung poverty nga po. So, this one, new medicines and medical equipment. So imagine, because of the inventions of the new medicines and medical equipment, it tends to prolong yung buhay ng isang tao. So, di ba? And of course, syempre, yung iba ring mga na-invento, yung pwedeng nasa-shorten nito yung lifespan. But because of the new medicines and medical equipment, medyo nagko-contribute ito sa pagdami ng tao. So, halimbawa, dati, di ba, napaka-dangerous ng chickenpox, di ba, yung tigdas, di ba? But eventually, because of the different vaccines, yung flu, yung Spanish flu, di ba? So, and even now, so many countries are developing vaccines doon sa current situation na meron tayo. And because of these new medicines and medical equipments, it tend to contribute doon sa population growth. So ano yung mga naidudulot ng mga new medicines and medical equipments? Una, yan, infant mortality rate. So when we do speak of infant mortality rate, it refers to the total number ng namamatay na baby kada taon. So mortality. But because of the new medicines, like for example, yung mga bakuna, 'di ba? So I'm hoping na medyo sana maliwanagan tayo lahat that all these vaccines, I know we develop a mass hysteria about vaccines, but we should always keep in mind that all these vaccines ay para sa ikabubuti natin. So, this one, anong meron? Nagkaroon ng low infant mortality rate because of the new medicines and medical equipment. So, bumaba yung bilang ng namamatay na mga baby na ipinapanganak. So, because of the new medicines and medical equipment. Pangalawa, yan. So, anong nangyari? Birth rate, medyo nag-increase. Pataas naman. Kanina pababa yung infant mortality rate. Birth rate, ito naman yung dami ng ipinapanganak, di ba, kada isang taon. So, because of these medical equipments, so, and new medicines, dumami yung ipinapanganak na bata sa loob ng isang taon. That can contribute to the population growth. And of course, taas-baba lang to. So, mababa yung infant mortality rate, tumaas yung birth rate, eto bumaba yung death rate. So, bakit po? Of course, because of the medicines dati, yun nga, may yung mga sakit dati na tinitreat na sobrang lala, ngayon medyo because of the inventions of the medicines and medical equipment, curable na, nagagamot na. So, that is what we speak about low death rate with regard to this yung invention of the new medicines and medical equipment. So next, factors. Ano pa yung mga factors that may contribute to population growth? Yan, yung urban development. So when we do speak of urban development, ano naman daw po ito? It refers to the growth and development of an area or place into a city. Imagine, di ba, yung dating lugar na yun na hindi naman siya city or syudad, dineclare as a city. Of course, may mga certain criteria yan in order for a specific place to be declared as a city. So, dito nagtayuan na ng mga malls. So, you could expect movement from one place to another. Bakit? Kasi may job opportunities. Kung may maraming itatayong infrastructure from rural area turn out to be an urban area, dineclared as a city, definitely may mga establishments and infrastructures na itatayo dito. So there will be job opportunities. So this could contribute to the dun sa pagdami nung tao sa isang lugar. So this one, when we do speak of urban development, so there will be a wave of migration from rural area going to the urban settlements or urban developing areas. Ayan. So again, kanina we define population growth. So it's when we do speak of population growth, it refers to the increase of population in a specific demographic area at a certain point of time. So when we do speak of population explosion, ano naman pagkakaiba ni population explosion? Pag sinabi na kay population growth. So when we do speak of population explosion, ito naman po, dadagdagan na natin ang word rapid. Ayun. So rapid increase of population or increase of the total number of people within a specific demographic area in a specific time. So dito nagkakaroon ng population explosion, dumami bigla. So there is a rapid increase. So because of this, yan, population growth and even over yung population explosion can contribute to the phenomenon, to the social phenomenon na tinatawag nating overpopulation or to the demographic phenomenon na overpopulation. So when we do speak of overpopulation, it refers to the condition of having too many people living in a particular place at one time. Sobrang dami na. So that's why, kailan natin ma-determine na sobrang dami na? So kaya ngayon yung tanong. Ang tanong doon, kapag ba maraming tao, overpopulated na? So, pero ang sinasabi lang naman ng overpopulation, it refers to the condition of having too many people living in a particular place at one time. So, baka doon na pumapasok yung konsepto ng baka kasi may shortage na, baka hindi na kaya. So, kanina, doon sa scenario natin, sa situation natin, sa box A at saka sa box B, baka hindi na sapat yung lugar or yung demographic area. They are too many on that kind of specific demographic area. So, this is how we define overpopulation. Ayan, sabi ni Sir Rod Maiso Ipan, pag nagkulang na sa basic needs, tama po, very good po. Very good po yan. Ito po, dito po tayo patungo, tama. So, ano po yung mga problema when we do speak? Problems that may arise when we speak of overpopulation, or when can we say na overpopulated na? So yan, ito yung sinasabi kanina ni Sir Rod Maiso Ipan. Tama po yun. Kulang na po. Ito yung mga problems ng overpopulation. There could be shortage of food, water, and even land. So land resources, anong meron yan? Yung nagsisiksikan na tayo. So land resources, of course, yung mga nakukuha din nating mga resources sa on the agricultural sector. Yung water po, halimbawa, pag sobra ng dami ng tao, hindi ba? Could be there possible na nakocontaminate na yung tubig, nagkakaroon na ng water pollution, and there could be food shortage. So bakit daw nagkakaroon ng food shortage? If you can still remember Thomas Robert Maldus, on his population theory. Sabi niya, he explained his population theory na anong meron. Yung tao, in terms of reproduction, it reproduce geometrically. So, yung in geometric sequence, siya nagre-reproduce. Sa kabilang banda, on the other hand, anong meron? When we speak about resources, our resources, in terms of reproduction, it will only increase in arithmetic sequence. So halimbawa, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Tapos in geometric sequence, 0, 2, 4. So halimbawa, 0, 2. Yung 0 at 1. So definitely meron ng discrepancy in terms. So in terms of resources. So dalawang tao in geometric sequence, yung population, in arithmetic sequence, may isa kang um, natural resource or resources. Anong meron? May isa ng taong hindi makakain. Next, hanggang sa magpatuloy yung sequencing na yun. So, definitely, what we can assume ay anong meron, batay sa teorya ni Thomas Robert Maldus or in his Malthusian theory, there will be a shortage of food kapag dumadami yung tao. So, this one. That's why in his theory, nag-propose siya. Pagdating natin kay population education, he proposed the preventive check. Of course, there will be positive check. So, babawasan natin yung population. So, yan, sabi ni Itay, Malthusian theory states that food supply will not be able to keep up with the growth of human population. Tama po, very good. Kasi yung sequencing nga, yung kay population, naka-geometric sequence, kay resources, so sa resources, naka-arithmetic sequence. So, pag tinable natin yun, hindi cannot be. So, makikita natin yung shortage. Pangalawa po, of course, if there will be overpopulation, ano pa yung ina-assume natin? Ito. So, land, water, and even air pollution po. So, magkakaroon tayo ng pollution. Be it in water, yan, yung contamination. Siyempre, kung madaming tao, so kagaya ngayon, lahat tayo gumagamit ng face mask. So, di ba, isa sa mga nagiging problema natin when we do speak of our marine resources, marami nang nakikitang face mask sa dagat. Diba? So, ganun din sa iba't ibang lugar. So, lahat ng tao gagamit ng face mask. So, there could be different pollution in water, in land, and even in air. So, that's one. Next, in relation with the food shortage or shortage of food, there could be yon depletion of natural resources. So, saan ba tayo kumukuha ng pagkain natin? So, depleted, madi-deplete, ma-overuse yung natural resources na meron tayo. So, halimbawa, yung mga isda. So, pagkakuha mo naman yan, hindi naman pagkakuha mo, nanganak sila kagad eh. Diba? So, sige, say for example, pagkakuha mo, so may mga maliliit na isda ka pa makukuha the other week. But eventually, pag nakuha mo na yung maliliit na isda, and eventually, mawawala rin. Kaya nga, di ba, ipinagbabawal yung paggamit ng mga fine nets when we speak about our resources. So, kasi, pag gumamit yung mga mangingisda natin ng mga fine nets, nakukuha nito yung mga maliliit na isda. So, anong magiging effect nito? Mawawala na yung mga future na lalaki pa sana ng mga isda. So, and next could be, ayan, isa pa sa mga problema when we do speak of possible overpopulation ay, of course, yung problema natin sa education. Bakit? Bakit raw nagkakaroon tayo ng problema sa education when we do speak of overpopulation? Ano bang nagiging estado or situation with regard to education at overpopulation? Ano kaya? Bakit kaya problema? Bakit kaya ang nagkakaroon ng problema sa education when we do speak of overpopulation? Ayan, so very good. So when we do speak of problems in education, yan, dumadami na yung estudyante sa loob ng isang classroom. Di ba imagine, though hindi ko pa naman na-encounter, awan ng Diyos. Di ba yan, sabi ni Sir Rod, Ipan, mass promotion, yes, could be possible, no? Di ba? Nawawala na yung quality, yan, ipinapasa natin. That's why pagdating dun sa susunod na grade level, hindi niya pa na totally na-absorb yung skills, inangat na siya dun sa susunod na level. Of course, looking at the situation also, pag iniwan mo naman siya doon, anong meron? Dagdag pa siya dun sa population ng susunod na mga estudyante. That could be, again, I'm not in favor of mass promotion. So, that is why, isa rin ito sa mga sinusolusyonan. That's why we are conducting this one, the ETUlay, kasi dito namin pinapakita na kaming mga tutors and even organizers that we can deliver quality education despite sa pandemic na nararanasan natin ngayon. So, tutulungan natin yung mga bata to upskill and to learn these skills na anong meron, despite the pandemic crisis na nararanasan natin. Yan, sabi ni Inay Karin na lack of school supplies and quality of learning. Tama po, ang dami. Bawa, 100, 200, kunyari lang, 100 yung estudyante mo. Diba? Yung nasa unahan, matututo yan. Pero yung nasa likuran, paano na sila? So, diba? Of course, ano yung common scenario na makikita natin doon sa mga ganong sitwasyon? Diba yung teacher nakalapel? Diba? Or di kaya may mic ng hawak. So, teachers are very innovative. However, dapat kumbaga matutukan natin yung different individual learning needs ng ating mga mag-aaral. So, 'di ba? Pasukan mo pa yan ng differentiated learning. Baka tumambling na si teacher when we do speak of this one. That's why pinag-uusapan natin on what could be the ways on how to limit this kind of problems kasi maapektuhan yung quality of education na meron tayo if overpopulated nga ang isang bansa. Okay. So, babalik lang po ako sa sinabi ni Itay Nick Abella. Tama, yung food shortage could possibly lead to war. Tama po yun. May mga ibang mga bansa na nagdidigmaan in terms of what? Food resources. Actually, yan yung rule of the thumb dati, di ba? During the ancient civilization, they are fighting for the different resources. So, baka bumalik tayo sa ganon kung kung lahat ng bansa ay overpopulated. Okay, what could be the good side of the overpopulation? May good side naman po. So, having an overpopulation, yung state of overpopulation, we could divert it also in terms of what? Human resource or labor force na meron tayo. Pero of course, when we do speak of this one, definitely, it's a way long process. Bakit? Kasi kailangan itong mga taong ito, yung mga labor force na ito, dapat may necessary skills sila in order for them to contribute meaningfully doon sa mga economic activities ng isang bansa. So, that's why sana before na tayo mag-isip ng possible ng dami o bilang ng magiging anak, iisipin natin hindi yung long term na matutulungan nila tayo. So, sana isipin natin ano yung mga gagawin natin dito sa anak natin in order for them to be productive citizen of the country. Okay, so let's proceed. So, that's why, because of these problems, so when we weigh the pros and cons of having having a state state of overpopulation, anong meron? Mas malaki yung cons kaysa sa pros. So that's why there was a campaign known to be as population education. So when we do speak of population education, let's educate the population, let's educate the people. It's an educational campaign aimed at slowing down the population growth rate of a certain place or country. So layunin ng population education is to slow down. Hindi naman talaga natin mapipigilang madagdagan ng tao. So, but however, so if there is population growth, sana hindi tayo umabot doon sa population explosion. So, to slow down a bit yung rate ng yung population growth sa isang bansa. So, and of course, when we do speak of this educational campaign, yung PopEd or population education. So, anong meron? Kaakibat nito ay to educate people about the environmental issues and social issues regarding overpopulation. So, we need to educate people by means of letting them know ano yung mga possible environmental issues and social issues. So, kanina nabanggit nga, halimbawa, kung maraming tao, of course, hindi naman, kunyari, they lack education, hindi sila lahat nakapag-aral. What could be the possible social issues na kaakibat ng may malaking population? Or, marami kayo sa bahay, hindi naman lahat yun nakapag-aral. Paano nila itatawid yung isang araw nila? So, definitely there will be social issues. So, dito papasok yung mga means and ways nila in order for them to survive in everyday living because of that kind of situation. Dito papasok pwedeng they commit crimes, 'di ba? Para maitawid. Kaya 'di ba, pag mapapansin natin na anong meron, pag ini-interview yung nahuli na nagnakaw or nanguha ng isang gamit, isa lang naman yung sinasabi nila, pangkain, kapus po kasi, ganito. Well, these are social issues that we can relate to overpopulation. Kasi wala silang enough opportunity. That could be a problem because of overpopulation. Yung opportunity na ipinagkakaloob sa atin ng ating bansa ay hindi enough doon sa dami ng tao na meron, and that could be what? A mismatch. And this mismatch could create social issues. So when you interview a person involving in sex trafficking, say for example, or prostitute, yung sa prostitution, ang isasagot lang naman sa inyo yan, ito kasi yung nakikita nilang paraan para mabuhay sila. Of course, we are not normalizing prostitution. However, we need to understand that these social issues, pag inugat natin yan, isa sa mga problema dyan is what? Because we are overpopulated, dami kasi natin, and at the same time, halimbawa, nag-anak ng madami, and yet, di naman natin mapalaki sila or masustain yung mga basic needs nila. Kaya anong meron? Gumagawa sila ng mga paraan para lumangoy, para mag-survive. And of course, this one, pangalawa, how people can contribute in minimizing the population growth in their country. So ano yung kaya nilang gawin? Ano yung kaya nilang i-contribute para bumaba pa unti-unti yung population, yung growth rate, hindi naman yung current population, para hindi na masyadong madagdagan. So, by means of what? Saan papasok? Dito pumapasok yung family planning. So, by means of natural, yung rhythm, yung rhythm or natural method. So, paggamit ng contraceptive. So, when we do speak of family planning, we are determining the number and even yung spacing, di ba? So, minsan kasi may mga situation na anong meron, yung makikita mo yung spacing nila, sunod-sunod eh. Parang ilang taon yung panganay mo? 15. Yung pangalawa mo, 14. Yung pangatlo mo, 13. So yung spacing nawala. So of course, makikita mo rin na if that's the case, yung parents, mahihirapan yun in sustaining. Kaya nga, di ba, isa sa mga nagiging problema ng madaming magkakapatid ay anong meron? May mga kailangang mag-sacrifice sa pag-aaral. Kadalasan panganay yun, hindi ba? So magtatrabaho muna sila para makapag-aral yung mga bunso or yung mga sumunod sa kanila. So, these are certain social issues. So, that's why there is a really need to educate the people. So, sabi nga, babalik ako sa Malthusian theory, there is already, sabi ni, under the Malthusian theory of Thomas Robert Maldus, there is already a factor which we call positive check. Anong meron? Nababawasan naman yung population by means of natural in the occurrence of natural phenomenon. So halimbawa, bumagyo, nagkaroon ng natural calamity, di ba pag may mga namamatay, that's positive check. Nababawasan yung population. So however, halimbawa in this time, in this pandemic crisis, nabawasan yung population. Di ba? Kung ilan na yung namatay sa atin and even sa buong mundo. Nabawasan yung population. However, hindi yun sapat. I mean, we are not asking na may mamatay pa ng madami. But ano yung sinasabi ni Thomas Robert Maldus under his Malthusian theory? We need to make ways. Paano? Yung preventive check. So dito pumapasok sa preventive check yung family planning, yan, yung spacing. So sana tanggalin natin yung isip na jackpot mentality. When I do speak of jackpot mentalities pagdating sa pag-aanak, there are some of us na anong meron, iniisip natin na kapag marami tayong anak, say for example, 10, yung long term nun, anong meron, 10 din yung tutulong sa atin pagtanda natin. Pero hindi natin naisip yung short term nun. Ano yung short term goal nun? Kailangan yung 10 yun, patapusin mo muna mag-aral. Kailangan lahat yun nakapag-aral. You need to sustain their needs para matupad mo yung long-term goal mo. Pero kung hindi mo matutupad yung long-term goal mo, then therefore, magbabluff yun. So, magbabagsak yun. So, that could only contribute to overpopulation na meron tayo. Yan. Pwede po ba yung one-child policy? Sa China, actually, when they implemented the one-child policy. Tama po, Sir Rod. That's a preventive check. So, but again, that's the policy of China. That's why mapapansin natin some of the Chinese people that cannot comply under that kind of one-child policy during the time of Mao Zedong in China. Anong meron? They transfer from, migrate sila. So, no, that's why we have Chinese communities also. That could be a considerable reason bakit nagkaroon din ng malaking amount of Chinese communities in the Philippines. Umalis sila ng kanilang bansa. Okay, so to wrap up this discussion for this afternoon, I would like to leave you this quote as what yung lagi ko naman pong ginagawa. Thought of Ander for this afternoon po, if we don't help population growth with justice and compassion, kung hindi tayo gagawa ng mga means like family planning, yung spacing, kung patuloy pa rin yung population explosion, it will be done for us by nature, brutally and without pity, and will leave a ravaged world. So imagine, ano na yung kadalasan nating nararanasan ngayon? Sobrang init na. Bakit? Anong meron? We can associate it also with overpopulation. Bakit? Kasi ang dami na nating need. Kung marami na tayong, our natural resources will be depleted. So, maubos yun, iinit yung mundo, diba? It could be also an issue that we could relate to the current situation of global warming na meron tayo ngayon. And eventually, our environment, our natural environment ay, kumbaga, siya na yung gumagawa ng paraan to control yung dami ng tao. And again, in the sense na anong meron, without pity and will live a ravaged world. So, I'm hoping that you are one with those people who advocate population education na let's try to control yung population explosion or even population growth. Kasi anong meron, sino ba yung magsasuffer? Of course, the future generation. That's why even the United Nations ay anong meron, gearing towards sustainable development. Kung madami man tayo, sana madami din tayo magtanim, lahat din tayo magtanim in order for us to secure yung sustainable development ng future generation. So with that po, ayun po, maraming salamat po for staying, Sir Rod, Ipan, maraming salamat po, Inay, Karina Abelia, Itay, Marjorie, and even the rest of the people who's with me this afternoon po. Maraming salamat po for staying in this session po. I'm your tutor, Gilbert, tutor of Alternative Learning System, Learning Strand 5, Understanding Self and Society. Samahan niyo po ako palagi at kami pong lahat po sa team ng ALS and even the ETUlay po. And especially me, 5 to 6 p.m. po, yung Understanding Self and Society po. Just stay a while po. Susunod po sa akin ay si Tutor Robbie po for Digital Citizenship. He will discuss a very exciting topic po about about digital citizenship po. So, maraming salamat po and God bless po.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETUlay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan bukas mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETUlay free online tutorial session sa mathematics. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETUlay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!